Hi everyone. Today I am going to be talking about my personal pedagogic creed, and I really enjoyed writing this. I enjoyed presenting this. I enjoyed reflecting on my time learning to be a social studies educator. Um, the first one, I dove into the area of curriculum. I believe that relating curriculum to students' lives is one of the strongest ways to draw student connection to the content. If students can connect to the material, they are going to be much more enamored by the content. They are going to think about it differently. They're going to critically think about the work at hand. And I will honor my creed by finding literature and resources that draw student connection to the standards. An example of this is there's a really great piece of literature called The Lions of Little Rock, and it's written by Kristen Levine. And she wrote this book from the perspective of a middle school age student who had to combat her own white fragility to combat racism, to stand up for her best friend, to stand up for her own personal beliefs. I think instilling positive role models in students is essential, and I think that's a great way to draw them to curriculum. For pedagogy, I believe that the teaching practices need to include various types of assessment throughout all learning activities. I think teaching through assessment is one of the best ways you can gauge your students' learning trajectory. I think that it is essential for teaching students and understanding where they are at. I know that I will definitely in the future create a binder for informal formative assessment ideas that are accessible throughout the entire school year. I think this is a good idea because while we go to college and we know many different types of formative assessments, sometimes things get crazy in the classroom, and sometimes when you're planning, you're you just need a book full of resources. And I think creating a book full of resources will just make the experience 10 times greater. And it'll make it stress-free as well, but it'll also enhance the lesson for the students. Lastly, for social context, I believe that teaching young learners knowledge that will get them out of their comfort zone is essential. I reflected on this in the ETAs 9 and 10 this week because I'm about to be teaching in an area that is the demographic is predominantly white and rural, and I am nervous, but I also feel a duty to help students get out of their comfort zones, to give them knowledge that they are going to need to fight for social justice in this world when they become adults. I will make a conscious effort to ask challenging, thought-provoking questions about racism and social change. I will also model this because I know that answering these questions can be tricky. I will show through example that it is okay to admit biases, it is okay to admit that you are not perfect, that you have been culturally conditioned to believe certain things. I think engaging students in critical thought about social context is essential. And that is my pedagogic creed. Thank you. Or pedagogic.